Hi all, what's up? My name is Toby, and today I want to talk about the fact why I believe weed sucks compared to Jesus. I know it might be weird and you won't agree on this, but please hear me out. Because this won't be a video about don't take drugs because it's bad for you. It's a video about don't take drugs because there's something so much better for you. Recently, South Africa legalized weed for private purposes, and many are happy about it and celebrating the breaking news of last week. And some parts of me can relate to that because I was one of them. I was smoking weed for 5 years and I was looking forward to the day when they were legalizing it in my country too. So I'm not talking about something I don't understand or consequences I haven't experienced myself. Wherever you go, you hear people talk about weed like it makes you happy, it gives you peace, and overall has only positive effects to it. Even movies nowadays portray it in such a way as if it's something that's only fun and part of a cool life. And if you're a student and you didn't get properly wasted, you did something wrong. And through that, many start thinking they're missing out on something just because they've never tried it. Even Christians, especially those who never went off track, feel like they don't have a story to tell and nothing to talk about. So they somehow regret not having experienced certain things. But let me tell you, the truth is you haven't missed out on anything. Weed is not as good as people make it sound. And you can trust me on this because I've learned the hard way. After roughly smoking 5 years and taking other drugs, I ended up at a place where I had to quit my job at McDonald's after being employed just for 1 day. Because I literally wasn't mentally able anymore to take simple orders from people. And obviously it was a combination of weed and other substances. And understand not everybody starts taking harder drugs, but my point is, weed is not as harmless and good as people make it to be. I know it's so weird and ridiculous to talk like you can actually compare the creator of the universe with weed. But I think there's a need to talk about it because to most people in my age, God is totally irrelevant. And even Christians question if it's really worth it to not smoke or get drunk sometimes. I know many don't believe in God anymore, but let me tell you, I've experienced him in my life in so radical ways that the fact that he is real is totally unquestionable for me. A few years ago, as I was in the process of getting sober, I left home and I went to Asia in order to pursue extreme sport. But in that time, he revealed himself to me and he started to show me what it really means to follow him. And after so many years of self-hatred, I could finally forgive myself for some of the things I've done. He also freed me of years of porn addiction, and I've met 3 people that heard his audible voice and their lives have never been the same. Apart from other healings, I've seen how a homeless guy that wasn't able to walk for many years and had to be carried by his friends to the toilet started to walk in front of my eyes after me and a friend prayed for him. So what I'm trying to say is, God is real, and while weed makes addiction stronger, Jesus wants to set you free. But unfortunately, when many of you hear the name of Jesus, you think about a boring church service and people that are following religious rules without really displaying much that you're interested in. And you might think, who would want that? Their life looks boring and outside of church, it's hard to recognize them from other people. But hear me when I say, don't miss out on this greatest invitation that Jesus has for you just because we as Christians sometimes fail to display him properly in our lives. There's so much more to Jesus than you might think. Back then, I thought similar about Christianity, so I smoked weed and did all kinds of things, thinking this is freedom. Only to find out, weed doesn't give you freedom at all. It does exactly the opposite. It might enable you to be less stressed or worried about your problem for a moment, but it never solves the issue. Looking back, I can see how it slowly boxed me in and started to change my personality. Too often the evenings took a weird turn and I got socially awkward because I freaked out and was stressing about what other people were thinking of me. But I know many won't be able to relate when I try to describe horror trips, but my point is, weed really doesn't make your life any better. And when some of my friends would honestly think about it, they would agree that it does more harm than any good to you. And I know many people argue that it has positive effects when people suffer from certain sicknesses. And I'm not even saying there's no truth in the statements, but that doesn't make it overall good. and shouldn't make us blind from all the other side effects. But what bothers me most about the fact is that people rejoice over weed is they don't realize it keeps them off from the very thing they're made for, knowing God. And what might sound totally boring to you turned out to be the most fulfilling and life-changing thing I've ever experienced. It's so amazing to see how He works through me and heals and restores people's lives around me. It's something that weed, shrooms, tablets, or whatever you might take will never be able to give you, at least according to my experiences. And I'm not saying it's easy or won't cost you everything, but the question is, what do you really have to lose? So why don't you give Him a chance, read the Word for yourself and ask Him to reveal Himself to you. And you will realize as much as I do that everything else is a joke and totally senseless to waste your time with. And when you as a Christian sometimes wonder why it shouldn't be fine smoking sometimes, you should ask yourself, do you just want to be comfy? Or do you want to do everything in order to bring glory to our Lord? You're created for something much better, something so wonderful. So please, don't waste your time with weed, because it sucks compared to Jesus.